So recently I traveled to Uzbekistan, and aside from being an incredible travel destination, I gotta say the food is pretty spectacular. And if you ask me to pick out one dish to represent all of Uzbek cuisine, well, that's actually pretty simple. Undoubtedly, it has to be plov. It's the perfect combination of meat, rice and vegetables no Uzbek family can live without. I call it the comfort food of Central Asia. So I say we go ahead and make some. My name is Andong and today I am sharing what I learned about making authentic plov in Uzbekistan. Real quick before we get started, if you like learning about and recreating mouth-watering dishes from all over the world like Uzbekistan, then you have come to the right place. Subscribe to my channel and hit that little bell button for weekly food inspiration. Okay, now let's make some plov. So some good news first, plov only uses a handful of different ingredients, all of which are pretty easy to find anywhere in the world. What matters most when making plov is technique, and that's what I'm gonna show you right now. We'll start with carrots. Peel them first and cut them into sticks. Make sure they're not too thin, they're gonna cook for a really long time and we don't want them to fall apart entirely. Next we're slicing an onion. A little pro tip from the holy book, slice your onions pole to pole, that's this way. This will help release more aroma from the onion and also results in better texture. Okay, time for some spices. You will definitely need some cumin. I actually still have some Uzbek cumin that I got in Samarkand from this guy, $1 Million Smile. And I'm also adding some coriander seeds. I like using whole spices and grinding them up myself, but the powdered stuff will work too. And that's most of the prep already. Okay, so plov is normally cooked on a wood-fired kazan, which looks something like this. So in Uzbekistan, plov master is actually a legit and highly respected career choice. These guys can whip up borscht, which is what they call plov over there, for thousands of people at a time in a huge kazan. But I'm just gonna go out on a limb here and assume this is not what you want to do at home. So a great alternative if you're not a trained plov master is just grabbing a heavy cast iron pot like this. So first you want to add some oil and get it really hot. Because next up we're gonna add some chunks of beef and we want them to get nice and brown. If you want to use lamb, that's perfectly fine too. Now is also a great time to introduce the only tool you will need for making plov. It's this guy. A slotted spoon. You can also use a flat ladle. Watch how useful this one tool is during the entire process. So once our meat is nice and brown, we are adding our onions and the ground spices. We are also adding some whole cumin seeds and some ground paprika. Now give everything a good stir for a few minutes, let your onions brown and that oil absorb all those aromas. And now comes my favorite part. We're adding in a whole bulb of garlic, so satisfying. You only need to remove the dry outer skin. Looks really pretty too. Now spread your carrots out on top of your meat and don't mix. Layered cooking is pretty essential to making great plov. Now add in some water until your carrots are almost but not completely covered. And then season well with salt and pepper. Cover and let everything simmer on medium-low for around 30 minutes. So what are we doing here? We're basically creating a really heavily flavored stock that will cook our rice in. And speaking of which, while that broth is simmering away, we can start working on our rice. So here's a little fun fact. Uzbeks are so serious about plov that there are rice varieties specifically designed and bred for plov. One of them is even called super laser, or probably super laser, but it sounds better this way. And you pretty much can't find this variety of rice outside of Central Asia. Even as a traveler, you can't take more than like a kilo back home with you. So assuming that all of us, including myself, don't have access to super laser, we're just gonna use some short grain rice. No matter which rice you use though, you need to rinse it. This is pretty easy, but it's also really important. You see how cloudy that rice water gets? That's the starch on the rice. If you don't rinse that off, not only is your plov sort of gonna get thick and sludgy, but it's also gonna burn on the bottom. Once your rice water looks somewhat clear, you're good to go. This usually takes about 3 to 4 rinses. Okay, our plov base has been simmering for half an hour and it smells absolutely fantastic. Don't touch it though, only remove the garlic for the time being and don't throw it away. Now you're gonna add in your rinsed rice and spread it out evenly to form another layer. Next we're adding in water and pouring it over that ladle so we don't make any holes in our layer of rice. How much water to use exactly will come down to experience. I listed all the exact amounts that I used in the video description below. But generally around 1 centimeter, which would be like half an inch of water over your rice, is about what you're looking for. Now, on medium heat, let your plov simmer and keep spreading that top layer of rice around just a little bit every minute or so. We're gonna do this until our rice puffs up a little bit and is not submerged in that stock anymore. Should take around 10 minutes. Finally, we're adding that garlic back in, and with the back of our ladle making 4 little vents for that steam to escape. And now that last step might sound a little bit scary, but trust me on this one. You can now cover your plov, turn off the heat and wait. Give your rice some time to absorb all that steam and strictly no peeking. Half an hour later, your wonderfully fragrant and rich plov is done. The meatiness of the beef and the onions makes for an amazing base. The carrots give the whole dish a really nice sweet undertone, and the spices, well, they add that little extra something. Try that plov at home with lots of friends or relatives, because that's what plov is. It's a dish for the whole family to assemble around and enjoy. Don't forget to head over to my channel for more food inspiration, and of course make sure to subscribe. Thanks for watching guys, and I'll see you in the next video.